Richmond is a neighborhood that is buzzing with life. The first thing I noticed when I moved here is that people are very friendly. Our neighbors especially seem to have lived here for a very long time and they're very welcoming. I took it upon myself to explore Richmond and to get to know the neighborhood a little bit better. I also wanted to interview people and local shop owners to see what Richmond was about.
I've become self-employed for 20 years now with this video store. Well, I used to travel to Richmond to see, there used to be a cinema on Victoria Street that showed, it was a lot like the Astor, used to show retro double features. Used to show Koyaanisqatsi, and it liked the Astor. It had a bit of a stage, I think, before the screen, and it was a very large screen, and I think famously it had a great audio system. Of course, you have say houses will get knocked down and built into a block of flats, and Richmond probably was 30 years ago regarded as a dirty suburb. We've got South Yarra, the other side of the river, and working class, I guess, inner city working class. Yeah, apparently, I'm not sure if it's apocryphal, but Ava Gardner, when they filmed on the beach in Melbourne about the end of the world, she said it was an appropriate place to film the end of the world, and I'm gathering because Melbourne was so quiet. Certainly wasn't New York. The pubs used to close at 6 o'clock and nothing opened on a Sunday. This is, I don't know, up until 1980, maybe. You'd knock off and you'd get into the pub and buy as many beers as you could, get pissed as quickly as possible because you can't drink anything after 6 p.m. Yeah, it's a good question. Is it nostalgia, or is it actually important? Is it valid, is it better in some ways? Tea ceremony about getting a record and putting it on the record player and opening up the large record cover and reading the writing credits or reading the lyrics, and hearing having the silence, the space between one album side and another, where you go, oh, it's over, and I've sat here for 20 minutes reading the cover with silence, or hearing it go on the record. It's a bit strange in some ways. If you were brought up without it, you're thinking, why don't you just stream it all, and then it never ends. You don't have to get up, and you can go anywhere with it and all that sort of thing.
Next, we have the local pie shop owners. They are a proud Vietnamese couple that have been here on Swan Street for a very long time. You could say they run things here.
We've been here 22 years. We've seen things happening when we first came into this area. Probably about we only the whole street maybe have, apart from the pub, and there's a pub down there, down that end, maybe about 3 coffee shops, something like that. But now pretty much every second shop is an eatery place. If not coffee shop, is a restaurant, a pizza shop, a sushi shop. So pretty much every second shop is an eatery place. So things happen quite different to when we were in the 20 years ago, something like that. And the generation, the people different too. Old people tend to move out to leave room for the young couples, young families, young professional couples, maybe 1 or 2 young children, and more apartments being built. If not apartment, they'll be upgraded to townhouse, to unit. So change a lot. My favorite pie is pepper steak. Secondary is the chunky pie with burgundy sauce.
That's my dad's favorite.
Your dad's favorite too, isn't it? And pepper steak, in fact, is being picked up by the Age. The Age picked up the pepper steak for the review, and the chunky Angus is picked up by the Nicholson. So one they review those two like become even more popular. So I happen to be one of my favorite too, and it's everyone pretty much people love those 2 pies, the top 2.
We have my dad. He just moved here from Central America, and it's a big change for him. A lot awaits for him in the city of Melbourne, in the small neighborhood of Richmond.
I like Richmond a lot. I've never lived in Melbourne before, and when I returned to Australia for the first time in 30 years, I looked for something new, and that was part of the reason I chose Melbourne. But I wanted to be in easy walking distance of the city, and what I found with Melbourne was that it reminded me a lot of London, where I'd lived. So in London, you would have every suburb had a high street, and in that high street would be a butcher, a baker, a post office, shops, restaurants, cafes. And I found that here in Richmond, particularly Swan Street is the high street. It's got an excellent bookstore, it's got a very good organic butcher shop, it's got a greengrocer's, it's got a big supermarket, cafes, bars, restaurants, and all within literally 400 metres of my house. The thing that I specifically really enjoy about Richmond and about my house is that my house is on what I call a cul-de-sac street, a dead-end street that comes up from a main road. So because there's no through road here, in fact we're sitting at the end of the street here, you don't have a lot of traffic, you don't have a lot of foot traffic, and it's fairly quiet, fairly peaceful, and I enjoy that.
And there you have it. This is a classy, quiet, and peaceful neighborhood with a communal gathering of people.